I'm Chef Natasha Pogrebinskaya, and welcome to my home for a family meal. I went to the West Side Market today, one of my favorite places to shop as a chef and as a home cook. And we made beautiful pasta using Ohio City pasta. I made meatballs using sausages from Czuchraj. I went to Dever's for cream and butter. And you know, a lot of this food is kind of what I grew up with. You know, mushrooms, meatballs, or kotlety, we call them in Ukrainian. In very rich, deep sauces, but they're not like gravy saucy. All things that are kind of, you know, in my soul and my heart, and you get a lot of that at the West Side Market. Making a mushroom pasta and a mushroom sauce. Got these beautiful mushrooms from the West Side Market, of course. So this is a Trumpet, King Trumpet. And you know, sometimes people see these, they don't know really kind of what to do with them or how to cook them, so I'm going to show you. The first thing I do want to say is, yes, wash your mushrooms. A lot of people always ask me, do I wash mushrooms? You know, yes, they're not made out of paper. They're not going to melt. And the other question is like, do they absorb a lot of water and then they're harder to cook? No, you can wash your mushrooms, and I actually do recommend that you do that, especially the ones that are, you know, coming from the market that have not been pre-washed or pre-packaged. Okay, so I'm just peeling the outer layers here a little bit, and that way you don't get those really gritty parts. And you can see it's a really beautiful mushroom, and look, it's enormous. Okay, so you can actually get a lot out of this. So if you buy like two or three, you can definitely stretch out several meals out of that. Okay, you're gonna cut up the little end here. It's a little spongy, and you're gonna save this with your trimmings, and you can put that in a soup or a stock later on. All right, so how do we cut this mushroom, right? So, I mean, yes, you can go this way, kind of do whatever you want with it. It's pretty hardy, so when you do cook it, it will stand up, like it's doing right now. Okay, cut off the cap right here, okay? So you can cook that all by itself, it'll be pretty on the plate. The other thing is always smell your mushrooms, smell them. Oh my God, yes. Okay, so they should smell like you're taking a walk through the woods and you smell like the foliage, the leaves, the bark, all of that. So it should have like a nice, like water, like rain just came through the forest, and that's the smell you're looking for. All right, so I just kind of slice them just like that. Little batons like that, super nice and easy. Okay, just for easier cooking, you can go one more time. Okay. All right, and we have a few different mushrooms here, so they all kind of have to cook a little differently. So we talked about the trumpet one. This is an oyster mushroom, and they're super cool like that. All right, so again, you want to take off just that little stem here where they're all growing out of. Comes off just like that, and again, save this for your stocks. Okay, and so the cool thing about buying mushrooms like this versus like maybe a button mushroom or something, you get a lot out of, you know, they kind of go a long way. So they're very meaty, they have a lot of flavor in them. Again, they stand up in the sauce, and you know, that big bunch that I got is actually going to get me through several different meals, and you can do, you know, different things with it. You can cook them ahead of time and roast them, and then put them on a pizza, put them on a sandwich, put it in your soup, etc. Okay, so we got these ones, and they're nice and big. I'm gonna keep them like that. I don't want them any smaller, but we are gonna trim them down just a little bit on the ends here. Again, it has that little more of that chewy, spongy thing, so when you bite into it after it's cooked, it might be kind of like stuck to your teeth a little bit. So you're gonna clean it up just a little bit like that, just like that. And yeah, so when you're shopping for mushrooms at the market, actually, you know, how do you know what you want? How do you kind of figure out what's going to be good for you? Always look for literally what looks good to you. Does it look pretty? Does it look delicious? Always cook what your kind of your heart and your eyes are telling you. That's going to be your go-to. You know, every vendor has something a little bit different. You might have your favorite vendor, but you kind of want to walk around. So I usually do, you know, a walkthrough once front and back, and kind of see who do I want to pick out from today. And sometimes I go to 2 or 3 different vendors. You know, this one might have the beautiful oysters, the other one might have some nice trumpets. And so the fun thing about mushrooms, especially if you're doing something like this, is variety, okay? So we got 2 here, and then this last one we're gonna cook with today is called Snow White, sometimes called gnocchi, can be St. George in some other places. So they're really cool looking, right? Ah, yes. Yeah, they smell great. They almost have like a melony smell to them, like a cantaloupe mixed with a cucumber, maybe. So yeah, you want to smell it, and it should have that like really fresh smell. Again, when you're just shopping for button mushrooms, maybe at the grocery store, and they're in those packages with the plastic on it, you're not going to get a whole lot of smell, like aroma coming out. And that's gonna translate to your flavor. All right, so I literally just cut the bottoms off there, and I have them all saved up for me here. Okay, so let's start cooking these mushrooms. We're actually gonna cook these separately and these separately in a sauce, but we'll start with the big ones. Olive oil or sunflower oil. I like sunflower oil, and you can get this at the International, I think, market, the store there. This is a syrup dispenser, but cool kitchen hack. This is so much easier to clean, right? So if you put your oil in a bottle, it's so hard to clean that bottle afterwards. This is great, comes out real easy, super easy to clean it when you're done with it. Sunflower oil, I grew up with it, but it's becoming more popular here as well. A little bit of butter, yes, butter and oil. It's gonna keep the sauce from burning. All right, high heat. So sunflower oil, really good for you, high smoking point. When chefs say that, what does it mean? So that means it's not gonna burn as fast, so you can slow cook it. And mushrooms, you should always slow cook mushrooms. Okay, so before we cook these mushrooms, we're gonna put a little bit of salt on there. Okay, a little bit of salt there. So salt helps to draw out any moisture that's in those mushrooms there. And we're just gonna sear them up in here. And these pretty ones are gonna go on our pasta because they look really impressive once you put them on there. And we're also gonna, once we're done cooking these, we're gonna use this pan for our pasta sauce, which we're going to use truffle, which you can also get at the little store there. So most of the stuff is not very expensive, and like I said, goes a very long way. If you're gonna splurge, maybe get something like this. You know, I think this was around $17, $16, something like that. This is gonna last you a very long time. It's powder, so you can put it in butter, you can put it in a sauce. You don't need a lot of it for a lot of flavor. And that's something you could keep in your pantry. Okay, so while those are cooking, just a little bit of black pepper. And something else I like to keep in my on my prep table is some herb de Provence. So, you know, whatever herbs you like. You know, if it's a mix of rosemary, thyme, lavender. So this one's really pretty, and it's got some lavender leaves in there as well. And mushrooms love herbs, and they love a lot of pretty stuff too. They absorb all those flavors. Okay, we can cook that down, turn that down a little bit. Like I said, you want to go kind of slow on those. You want a nice sear, but they have to cook through. So people do forget that about mushrooms. You know, you like see, you know, mushroom Swiss burger, and that's a quick saute on those buttons. This one you want to take your time. Okay, in this other pan, we're gonna start again. We're gonna do a little bit of butter. Look at this beautiful butter. You can tell that that was hand formed. And so this is from Irene Dever. Again, I talk a lot about smells. Okay, when you smell butter, you should smell like grass, you know, like grass and sunshine. When you open butter from a package, maybe you got it at the store, a little bit of oil in here as well. You're gonna get refrigerator smell. And you should do this test yourself, you know, get some store-bought butter and then go get some of this hand-churned butter. And you can, the comparison is just worlds apart. You'd be surprised how much you didn't know about butter when you start doing this. All right, yeah, they're getting a little bit of nice color. I'm gonna let them go a little longer. All right, so we got one pan here. Now our oysters are gonna go in this separate pan. Okay, you can start to hear a little bit of the crinkling. All right. And again, don't go too high on any of these. Take your time. And, you know, especially if you're cooking at home, it's nice. You know, you have a little glass of wine or a cocktail. All right, I'm saving these for a little later. They're different size, so we're gonna cook a little differently. We're gonna cook these just a little bit later. We're gonna add them in there, but not right away. Okay, we're gonna move on to our meatballs now. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's clean up a little bit. And again, you know, if you do get really good butter, don't forget to put it on some Mediterra bread, which we will be doing a little bit later. Nothing's greater than just a butter sandwich. A little sea salt, maybe some radishes. Okay, gloves on. If you want to cook like a chef, that's a nice trick. You know, chefs always use gloves. It's not just for you know, hygiene, sanitation, but it actually kind of saves you a lot of steps in cleanup. All right, so I got some beautiful sausages from Czuchraj. They've been at the stand for a very long time. I think the whole, you know, sausage making machine there has been around for 60 plus years. I might be wrong. I know it's at least that. And, you know, family owned, and they have some of the best delicious flavors, very Eastern European. I'm from Kiev, so those flavors are in my heart and my soul. Their kielbasa, their garlic kielbasa, I've used on every menu I've ever made, and will continue to do so. And they're really great people. You know, really the fun thing about going to the market is having those interactions with your vendors. You know, I mean, you go and you know them for a while, or you just met them, and they're gonna become family basically. Every time I'm there talking to Amanda or Chuck, you know, they give me a hug. It's like literally like family. We just haven't seen each other in a week, but here I am. All right, so those are nicely cooking away. All right, so meatballs, another fun kitchen hack for you guys. Instead of using ground meat, I got sausages. And so Czuchraj, they have a bunch of different ones. I have feta and spinach. I have an apple sausage. These are all chicken, by the way. And I think the other one is a garlic parm, natural casing. So if you're cooking these just whole, that's why you have that beautiful snap, right? If you put it on the grill or you put it on the skillet, whatever, that natural casing is what's gonna give you that really beautiful snap. But here's a cool trick. If you're making meatballs at home, get some sausages, take the casing off, comes off pretty easy. And you have already kind of built-in flavor, so it's kind of like marinating itself as they're sitting in the sausages, and you can get a few different flavors without a whole lot of prep, right? Otherwise you would have had to have spinach and feta and apples and all of that. But you got a few different flavors here. I'm gonna do almost a traditional meatball, okay? So some breadcrumbs. And I like it a little heavier on the breadcrumbs. It keeps the meatballs really nice and soft. 1 egg, again, from the market. Fresh eggs are the best. Okay, you're looking for that beautiful yellow color. You're gonna get the whole egg in there. All right, a little bit of salt. A little bit of salt there. Okay, we'll do a little pepper later. A little bit of chicken or beef stock just to kind of soften up those breadcrumbs. Okay, softer breadcrumbs give you fluffier meatballs, and they cook a little bit better too. Okay, all right, and then you kind of just go ahead and do your meatball mash. The meatball mash. You know, I also, you know, people are gonna ask me for recipes. I love recipes. I think there's like 2 kinds of chefs, you know. There's the chefs that cook, you know, very strict recipe only. And I think those are very important. You know, when I cook in the restaurant, that's obviously how we do things. When I'm at home, I kind of like to, you know, see where it takes me, you know, cook by intuition. This could use a little more. There we go. What do you get by cooking from intuition? You learn. You learn a lot. You know, you're paying attention. Your hand is telling you, okay, this This could use a little more breadcrumbs. It's just, the meat is just a little too tough for meatballs. You want them to be fluffy, so you add in a little bit more breadcrumbs. And again, that stock is gonna give you extra flavor and keep it a little bit more moist. Okay, so you're gonna try to incorporate everything. You wanna mix in you got the apple in there, that apple flavor, so fall, right? So great for the holidays. You can even do this like around Thanksgiving time. Spinach and feta, so you're gonna get some nice color. The feta is gonna give you some acidity as well. All right, and the garlic parm, of course. Now also the parm is gonna help keep those meatballs together. And the garlic is some of the extra flavor that you need. Again, saving you a lot of time, a lot of prep steps when you're making your meatballs. All right, so you got a nice, one big giant meatball. Okay, let's check on our mushrooms. Maybe turn them down a little bit more. All right, these are almost where we want them. Just a little longer. This is a cool little kitchen tool as well. Those big tongs that people use at home, they're very comfortable, but you know, sometimes they hurt your hand. You know, so. And you know, kitchen tools, you can get them at, actually the market has a nice little stand for a lot of your kitchen tools. Okay, cooking mushrooms, they love butter. They love a lot of butter. They're just like me. I love a lot of butter. I love a lot of butter. Okay. All right, just a little more butter, and then just keep it going. Keep them cooking there, okay? All right, now we're gonna set these meatballs aside to kind of set the meatball mass there. And we're gonna work on the mushroom sauce just a little bit longer. Okay, garlic. Gotta get some garlic. All right, you can use a garlic press. I'm not against the garlic press. I have a garlic press, and I use it all the time. You're at home, why not? You know, in the kitchen, in a professional kitchen, we have all this fancy equipment. We have the Roku, we have the blenders, we have all sorts of things. You're not gonna have a lot of room for that in your kitchen. The cleanup is a lot. Again, you're cooking at home, kind of just enjoy it, enjoy it. Okay, it does not have to be perfect. There we go, I got a little bit of garlic in there, some fresh garlic from the market. We just had a garlic fest come through Cleveland, and there's a video about that, so follow me and check it out. All right, got my garlic in there, do a little bit of shallots. You know, why didn't I start with shallots and garlic? Again, those mushrooms are a little meatier, and you know, you just kind of, sometimes you don't want that garlic to cook all the way down. It's gonna start getting a little bit too bitter. And your shallots, beautiful shallots from the market. You can also use red onion, you can use a white onion. So the shallots or the onion is gonna cook a little bit faster than those oyster mushrooms. So that's why you're kind of going towards the end with these. Or not the end, but maybe quarter of the way in. Okay. All right, your very simple standard flavor profiles, you know, garlic, onions. You don't need a whole lot to get maximum flavor. All right, now these mushrooms we can turn up just a little bit. Okay, we're gonna get our meatballs formed out. Okay. Got another trick for you. Not just for ice cream. Okay, I'm gonna take these mushrooms out of here.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Now this pan has a little bit of mushroom flavor in there. We're gonna leave it in there. Okay, we're gonna set our mushrooms aside to make our sauce a little bit later. All right, these are cooking nicely. There we go. Okay, meatballs. So this is called a disher. So if you're looking for it at a professional market, it's not called an ice cream scoop. Dip in a little bit of water. It's gonna help your meatballs from sticking to the disher. Okay, and you pack it in, and you pump it out, and there's your meatball. Really saves time than kind of rolling it by hand. You know how it always gets stuck to your hands, and then you gotta go wash your hands, and it's all in your sink now. All right, there you go, a little bit of water. Get that in there. Okay, if you want like more of a firmer meatball, really punch it in there. And there you go, another meatball. Okay, and we're just gonna do that the whole way through. All right, I don't like the meatballs to be way too big, especially for maybe like a pasta dish. You want me like 1 or 2 bites out of them. The other obviously great thing about meatballs is even if you cook them ahead of time, you can then, you put in the pasta today, tomorrow you have leftovers, you got a meatball sandwich, you put it over rice. Okay, I can smell all those flavors mixing together already. And you have perfectly sized meatballs. So again, saves you time, but also now they're gonna be cooked perfectly like in a restaurant. You're gonna impress your friends, you're gonna impress your family, you could feel like you're cooking in a restaurant. Without all the drama. Well, you might have drama at home. Don't we all? Can't live without drama, gotta have a little drama. All right. Okay, we're about to have some drama in that pan because some cream is gonna go in there. Okay. All right, so that was 3 sausages from Czuchraj, 3 different flavors. And I just did all chicken, but honestly, you can do veal, pork, chicken, mix it all together. My mom used to make it like that, still makes it like that. There you go. Look how many meatballs you're getting just out of 3 sausages. So the other cool thing about this trick is that, yeah, you could feed a family on this. Sometimes, you go to the market and you kind of feel like, I spent a lot, or it's a lot for one trip. Here's the thing about getting good quality stuff. Your good quality ingredients and your good quality products are going to last you, they're gonna go farther for you. So when you're eating something super nutritious, something that's very fresh, that's actually going to go a little farther literally in your stomach than eating like 99-cent hot dogs from Aldi, which no shame, I love them. I eat them all the time. But if you're looking for value, value is not always in bulk or the size of it. It's also the ingredient and the product itself. All right, so these mushrooms are getting some really nice color. Now's the time to add in our Snow White. Snow White, I like calling them Snow White, it's just a fun name. All right, Snow White, and then if you can believe it, more butter. Don't be afraid of butter. It's really good for you. Okay, we got a really hot pan here. It's all oiled up. This is a pan like this, you should just have one. You don't need you need anything too big. This is good for, family of 2, family of 4. Nice and hot, so you're gonna get a little bit of the sear on your meatballs there. And you already have a sear side because when you were scooping them out, there's a flat side. So you're gonna go right on the flat side into your cast iron. Oh yeah, hear it? Here, can you hear it? All right. Cast irons get very hot very fast, and then they kind of stay hot, so you can also keep that heat on low. All right, do you see what I'm doing? I'm putting them in kind of I'm putting it around the pan, right? Not in the middle. Little learning opportunity here. All of your heat is coming up this way from the flames, this way from the flames. So this is gonna be your hottest spot. So if you wanna sear, that's where you go. And this one is always, well, don't do this at home, kids. I'm a chef, I don't have any feelings in my hands. But this is gonna be like, I can touch this, but you'll probably burn yourself, so don't do it. But this is gonna always stay much cooler than the side of your pan. So for a good sear, especially on a meatball like this, go right there around the corners. Okay. Do just a little more salt here. We didn't put any pepper in the mix, so I'm gonna put some pepper in now. Fresh ground. Literally the first thing you get when you go to culinary school is one of these. And I've had it since then. And I take it everywhere. All right, so they're gonna cook and we're gonna let them kind of leave them alone. We have some pasta water boiling here. Nice big boil. Salt. Don't forget the salt in the water. Don't be afraid of the salt. Give it a good couple of pinches. oil, maybe like a teaspoon of oil. It's gonna keep your pasta from sticking. All right, and you're gonna let that water kind of keep boiling until you're ready for the pasta. And it's gonna get, you know, nice and salty there. Okay, let's check on our mushrooms here one more time. All right, we're looking for color, and then we're gonna start adding some sauce into here. That sausage meat with the garlic, when it's starting to get that little caramelization going, just a little longer, and then we'll flip them over one more time. Another one of my favorite places that I stop at all the time, and also use on all my menus in restaurants, is Mediterra. Very, you know, authentic European style bread. It's hearty and it's dense, and oh my God, how fun is it just to like have this, just to like hold this. It's like a little baby. It's so heavy.
Okay.
Yes, I stuck my face right in there. Okay, it's pasta. You gotta have a little bit of bread. Of course, it's not enough. Not enough carbs there. Okay, beautiful bread there. Okay. Great. Cut a big fat chunk just like that. Okay. We're doing just a little dipping. And yeah, see, it's so hearty. It doesn't fall apart when you slice it. Okay. Sunflower oil. Instead of like your olive oil, if you're an olive oil person, that's fine. Salt. A little bit of salt there. Dill.
Okay.
A bit of lemon. Cut the ends off there. Makes it easier to handle. Okay. Just gonna do a little bit in there. Okay, and we're done there. Okay, bread dish magically appears. There's your beautiful bread there. A little dipping dish. Okay. And I'm actually gonna serve a little bit of these lemons for the pasta. It is definitely pretty rich. All right.
Wow.
There's your pasta.
Oh.
There's those fancy little mushrooms you made. Just a little bit on top there. Even though I feel like we've got a lot of mushrooms already in there, these just are, they're gonna feel like you're eating a little piece of steak there with your pasta. Just a little bit of salt for her. Why not? You wanna decorate? You wanna really get a nice shot for your Instagram? Dill is fun to decorate with because it kind of stands up. Looks like it's literally in the forest. And it's one of the cheapest herbs around, but you get so much use out of it, so much flavor. Okay, meatballs. Again, not a whole lot of sauce, but you really don't need it because you have so much good stuff happening inside there in the meatballs. You don't want to cover that up. See, they're so saucy, but not overwhelming. Don't leave anything out. All right, don't leave anything in your pans. You worked so hard. Why would you throw this away? Right? All right. Cool. I think we did it. It's great to be, in Cleveland. We have all these 4 seasons where the market changes with the seasons. There's never, there's always something new, and yet it kind of stays the same. So you have your foundation, but you're always building on it. For a chef, for me, that's super exciting. I love cooking for you guys in my restaurants, and I love cooking for you at home.